time to put some finish on this guitar. Haven't gotten the rest of the stuff from Crimson yet. It's probably still 2 weeks out. And I haven't gotten the hardware gold plated yet. I know I said I was going to brass it, but when I tried to do it with one of the screws, what I found is, yes, it laid brass on the screw, but it also kind of pitted the surface a little bit with the wire wheel, even as lightly as I could do it. So I don't want to change the nice bright finish. My brother's got a gold plating kit. It's a liquid. The kits aren't all expensive to do that, and you think, wow, it's gold. Yeah, it's microns of gold. The quart containers, just not that much money. I'm going to use like, I'm gold plating like something like this big. It's just not that much. So he said he'll help me out with that. So that's really cool. So I'm going to have gold plated hardware and everything. That's going to be really nice. So off camera, about the only thing I've really done is I've finished sanded a little bit more in the end grain areas, and especially where your hands touch the guitar, down to 1,000 grit, or up to 1,000 grit. So right here on the neck, the horns a little bit, and right here at the back of the headstock, I got those all to 1,000 grit. And as you can see, I've taped up the fretboard. Now I had to make a bit of an aesthetic decision here. What am I going to do with the edge of the fretboard right here, because it's different wood, right? It's maple, not mahogany. So I decided that I'm going to put the varnish down there, and so I've cut the edge, put the tape on, and then cut the edge of it off with a razor blade. So I realize that's not going to be a perfect solution. You'll still have a little bit of varnish might creep under the edge of the tape there. That's okay, because the fretboard needs to get final sanded anyway, so we'll clean all that up. I am going to protect this edge, bottom edge of the fretboard down here, and where the nut goes. So the glue area for the nut, I've kind of masked that off, and cut this right here on this corner. So hold out. This is partly gel. It says gel stain, but you see it says clear coat here. So this is a clear gel varnish, and it has about the consistency of pudding. There's a little bit of loose material there on the top. I need to stir this in, and then I'm gonna put it on with some of this material. This is I bought a half a yard of this really seriously ugly material from a fabric shop probably 25 years ago, and yeah, it's really bad, isn't it? Just really bad. But the reason I bought it is because it's synthetic, and it won't pill. You won't pull any of the material off as you rub the varnish in. If I was to use cotton or something like it, t-shirt material for instance, take an old t-shirt, cut up a nice swatch of that, the varnish, because the varnish dries kind of quick, and the surface will get tacky kind of fast, and if you have a material that it can pull microscopic fibers out of it, you'll end up with microscopic fibers all in your varnish. Trust me, this is the voice of experience. So a material like this, and you end up getting these, sometimes you get these little threads off the end, so kind of pull them, try and make sure that you don't don't get your thread, but the threads you can pick out. That's not that bad. That little tufts of material, you never get them out. Alright, so this is kind of where the magic happens, right? The first time you put a finish on a piece of wood is always like kind of magical. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. The first coat goes on kind of thick, and then you basically just take it and just buff it off. This is called a wiping varnish, and so I just need a rag to do a wipe off with. The rag is going to get pretty ratty, and you need to take this varnish and the rags, and you need to let them really dry thoroughly, and not create any fumes. You don't want the fumes to build up in a trash can or something, because it can be explosive. And I actually met somebody to whom that had happened, and it had burned down his garage and his house. So it really does happen. It happened to somebody that I actually met, which was quite tragic. And I don't want it to happen here. All right. Oh, I need a stir stick, don't I? Just grab a little chunk of mahogany here. I shouldn't get any crap on it. This was part of, that's a bridle joint. This is part of a door. My screen doors on my front porch. Normally you wouldn't have to stir this stuff, but this has been sitting a long time inside this closed Ziploc bag, trying to keep as much air, you know, out of it as possible. Let's see, let's just grab this. You can see it turns stuff pretty dark pretty quick. All right, let's set this over here. And we are going to start with the top down. Make sure I'm showing the camera around. Oh, it looks so good. I think I'm going to leave myself a handhold here in the middle. Of course I can hold it by the cavities as well. Now you saw me pick up there's a piece of that thread. You saw me pick up a piece of cotton after complaining about not using cotton on this varnish, because you don't want to, another one little nick right there. Don't want to get any pills in the material, but you're not manipulating that fabric quite as hard as you are with this, trying to get stuff jammed in the corners and all that kind of thing, especially this first coat. This mahogany, you need to rub it in with the grain and across the grain, because you need to jam it in there. Of course, I'm going to paint the inside of these cavities with shielding paint, but I think probably the front face edge of this top edge I'm going to do with varnish. Put this down and grab the cavity Nice having that through hole. You can just grab it right through there. And I did already put a cup hook in the end, so I can hang it up. And I did prepare a place to hang it up. So, thought that through at least. Alright. This is a pretty good first coat. Looking pretty good. I still haven't done right there where I'm holding. I haven't done that part of the neck yet. Let's redo this one more time. Alright, let's get that. Make sure we do this end grain because I know it's going to soak that in more. Alright, that's pretty good. You let me in the comments if I did miss this spot. Not that it'll matter, but you will anyway. Alright. And the real goal is to just leave a film on here. And one nice thing about this stuff is that it dries and can be recoated in 6 hours. So I could actually come back, put another coat on tomorrow morning. I work from home, so work all day and then put a coat on tomorrow night and put on, 6 coats in 3 or 4 days pretty easily, and end up with a guitar that's ready for hardware in less than a week. Alright, so this is getting pretty tacky too. Just need to make sure I don't leave any globs on here. Of course, we're gonna wet sand in all the rest of the coats. I'm not gonna wet sand in the first coat. We're gonna wet sand in all the rest of the coats, and so even if I missed and left a little bit of a glob or a fingerprint in a case where I'm holding the neck. I mean, I'm trying to hold it across the fingerboard. You guys can't see that. It's a little out of camera, I realize. I'm having to work kind of fast here. All right, this is buffing nice. All right, nothing in here, nothing in the edges. Make sure I get these corners. They're good. Okay. Right around the neck joint. Alright, grab this from the back through here. I can grab it through here and grab the control cavity. Alright. There she is. There you get a little bit of an idea. It's probably not, it'll be glossier than that. It'll actually be a little glossier than that. Once you put on about 6 coats, like I said, about 6 coats, and then wet sand in, probably coats 3, 4, 5, and 6. First 2 coats you don't really need to wet sand in it. But after that I'll start wet sanding it in and using the finer and finer grits. So there she goes. I'm going to hang the guitar up and I'll come back and do the covers. Alright, so here's the covers that we veneered with cherry veneer. And I've sanded these to 1000 grit. And they're really going to pop. The veneer's pretty nice. Get all the edges. Drop the thing on the ground. No, it's not. That. Where's my bag? Yeah. All right, there's one. I did take a Dremel and open the holes up just a hair and made sure that the screws all fit. Yeah, so they're going to look really super nice. Better than black plastic, that's for sure. All right, last piece. Here's my nut, truss rod nut cover. Ebony. Ebony sounds so smooth. It's weird. Oh, I realized I picked up the wrong rack. That's right. Well, I dropped the other one on the floor. That's why I didn't do it. Okay, you almost can't see that the ebony's got finish on it. It's so interesting stuff. All right. Put this back in a Ziploc bag. Try and keep as much air out of these as possible. It lasts as long as I can. I've had these cans for several years. And actually, that's the first time that's the first time I'd opened that can. The other can's never been opened. I bought a couple of small cans of this. I don't use it all that often, and so having more smaller cans means I get to have it around longer. I found that if I had a larger can that you know, I'd lose half of it and it went bad, so I bought cans half that size, and if I don't open them up, they last a long time. The last can that I had is probably, you know, that much left in the bottom, and it had actually welded, glued the top to the can. I couldn't get it open even with a pair of vice grips, so I tossed it. So that's a brand new can here, but that looks like it's in perfectly good shape. So that's really all I'm going to do tonight. The guitar's hanging up in the shop, and these pieces can just sit here, and yeah, they're going to look really awesome. Here's the other plate, and I'm just going to have to own that edge. Yeah, bad. Nothing's perfect, so that one I have to own. If that's the worst mistake I make on this guitar, I'm doing really good. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and subscribe. I appreciate having a couple more subscribers. I'd like to get to the point where I can monetize the channel. I'm a long way off of that by now. I don't really want to make any money off of it, but it'd be nice to be able to use some of the community features and stuff like that, and you get that along with the monetization. So I got to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm currently at, I don't know, 350 or 375 or something. So we'll get there. This is a hobby. I like telling stories. I like talking to people. I like talking about myself. You know. If you want to see more of me talking about myself, and there's plenty of that on here, look for the playlist on this channel called Emery's Appearances. I talk about everything, rockets and satellites and all kinds of stuff. There's plenty of other content on here, rocket launches and satellite stuff. I do it with satellites. I'm a satellite systems engineer, software engineer by day. I don't do this. I don't do this for a living. This is fun. So anyhow, thanks for following along.